Alright, so I said I was going to attempt to make a video on this. You also might notice this video is in lower quality than previous videos I've done. And the reason for that is that it's just easier to have it in lower quality and not have it lag out whilst I'm doing it. And also probably make better FPS for you guys, better viewing. So, should be good. Anyway, essentially, I made a post the other day about having managed to get a 0-second monument time, which, not gonna lie, fairly pleased with. I think that's a somewhat good time. First off, there are several strats which have, which I've come up with as of late. The 0-second time and, to be honest, the 4-second time are a little bit dubious. They're not, like, they work, but they're not exactly satisfying as times go. I somehow have never given myself the Buccaneer shoulder pads on this character, which seems like an oversight on my part. So to clarify, I am currently on a test server. The screenshot I posted the other day was that was on a public server, but on a disposable character, because I felt like the 0-second time was a bit unfair. It's a little unbalanced. So I'm just going to quickly find the ID for me being unable to spell Buccaneer. You actually probably, most of the time, will want the rank 1 Buccaneer thing, because it's just more convenient. Where are we? Here we are. Cool. Alright. So the trick here is to use a spring jump, which I cancel with Sensei Wu's staff, and time a double jump correctly that I can double jump off of a small physics object which is temporarily spawned underneath me. Let's see if I can do it. Nope, so I was too slow on the jump. And the only annoying part of this, I say the only annoying part now, it's a generically slightly annoying strategy, but essentially this one you just have to time everything correctly. So I don't know if I'll even process fast enough to hit W to walk forwards when I do this, but you'll see roughly the idea. Nope, and I jumped too early there. Okay, that's it. Essentially, you can do. I guess I'll give it 1 or 2 more tries. But essentially, with the right time to jump, you can just walk up there. You may notice I'm getting my imagination down to either 5 or 6 every time. That's actually a necessary part of this. And from there, you can run up to complete a monument speedrun. My first actually, I guess I haven't actually done a monument speedrun completely with this. This is probably, I'd say, going to be in 11 seconds time. If I were to actually pull one off in a run at the moment, probably something like 11 seconds. There's an alternative strategy which uses similar underlying mechanics, but which is easier on timing, where you use 2 players, you get a friend to stand down here, and you then run and jump there on the there's a temporary invisible physics object which gets spawned. The timing when someone else throws one of those objects is really nice. It's incredibly lenient. You can remain in the air indefinitely with someone else just throwing those at the same spot, because they last longer than the cooldown on the big one. The only issue with this is that for whatever reason, I've got a couple of theories as to why this might be. For whatever reason, this only works on your character. This only works when someone else throws for your character, so you need 2 people for this strategy. Why this is the case, I've got some theories, but haven't proven anything one way or the other just yet. So that's the 10-second strategy. I think I guess I'll demonstrate the well, this was an 8-second strategy. Essentially, this is a way to cut time off of most strategies, and it's not one I like, which is why I didn't properly release it when I came up with it. I'm going to disconnect from the internet. I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to run some of the way. I'm not going to bother doing this too far. Wow, I'm bad, but you can see the idea. You can get part way along. If I used a speed boost, then I could just wait here for the speed boost to come back up. This is essentially, there is a timeout. The game will not continue running for more than, I think it's 5 seconds. So yeah. This just feels, I don't know. There are certain times where I think where I like deconnect. Stuff with disconnections I think can be quite cool. There are some things I've looked at. This one just feels like a kind of, I don't know, it just feels like kind of cheap way to cut out some of the race. So I'm not a huge fan of it. And originally, actually, when I first found this on DLU, discussed some ways that this could be patched. But yeah. So okay. So those are the... I introduced that strategy for a reason, because it lends a little bit of context to the next strategy. And the next strategy is, I specifically walked to about here. I don't know exactly where the point is. It doesn't really matter. As long as you walk a little ways down this road, you're going to be good. Because what happens when you walk a little way down this road and then die, so you respawn right here. Now, imagine if you were in a race whilst this happens, and then you can perhaps see where my ideas come from. So, what we're going to do here is, I know I can walk to about here. Actually, that might be a little far, but I mean, I guess we can test. You can walk to about here, and you'll still respawn up here when you smash yourself. Just noting that if you make the jump with a speed boost over to about, over to this ledge over here, if you do this, I probably missed it there, but I think probably you'll still see. Yeah, then you get respawned over here. So the challenge is to get to the start line without triggering... without triggering any of the things which move your checkpoint. There are 2 ways of doing this at the moment. I'm going to demonstrate this in the order I came up with it. So, this is the strategy I went with. So I disconnect from the server. I'm going to speed boost. I'm going to start reconnecting. It takes absolutely ages normally for my internet. If it takes too long, I get kicked. I think we cut it very close to getting kicked there. But now, you'll see if I... Yeah, I can do Shift. Wait a second. Let's undo that. Let's get... I'm going to press Smash Me and... Do I press Smash Me and Shift at the same time? I probably don't. I'm realising I don't actually... I'm realising the first time I did this, I pulled this off with /die. So this would be the 4-second strategy. So I'm going to do Shift. So if I /die, what happens is... Okay, I know what I have to do. And you don't need /die for it. There we are. Okay, so essentially, if you have this GUI up and you do /die, it disappears. Or if you die, it disappears. But what you can do instead is you can start the race and then die instantly afterwards. Now, you'll note the race doesn't autocomplete, and that's because... and that I'm confused as to who Quantum Rock Cobra is. That's weird. Yeah, and if you... And so what actually happens is that the game recognizes you moving into a certain range about here. If you just appear in this range, it doesn't recognize that. This also explains why occasionally you may complete a monument race and it just doesn't complete for you. And I'm fairly certain the reason's just that essentially, as we saw down there, if your connection is slow enough, the game won't process you moving through a trigger. And I suspect the same thing just happens here. The game just doesn't process you moving through the trigger and into the finish line. So yeah, okay. So that's this one trick. However, you're limited by a few things. The first and foremost being you are stunned whilst you are respawning, and you have to And so the issue is that from when I get here, and I've not dodged the checkpoint. At least I don't think. I might as well check, I guess, but I don't think I've dodged the checkpoint. So the issue is you need to die to teleport. However, you can't die before this starts. If you die now, oops. Well, I guess we tested that we didn't skip the checkpoint. I get pranked by this all the time because hitting enter, it prioritizes starting the race over your /die. But let's just demonstrate this again. So if I do /die now, gets rid of that. And so essentially you need to have waited for the race to start before you die. Or rather more specifically, you can't have this pop up before you die. So essentially my idea was, okay, what if we could there's if I disconnect from the server now and press shift, doesn't come up right away. See, it waits a little while. So what if I died in that time period? What if I died whilst waiting for that to come up? Then, well, if I've died in that time period, then there's going to be there's nothing that it will take off of my screen, but then when I press shift, so the commands to bring that thing up, well, there's nothing on my screen at the point when I've died, and then I will already have died by the point my game gets the message to bring this up, so it's not going to take it off my screen. And so at that point, I can be dead, but right about to respawn. I'm saying words that say, yeah, I can be dead and have that up on my screen. And so all I need to do is to respawn and I'll be teleported to the start, because respawning doesn't get rid of the dialogue. It's only getting smashed. And so I can demonstrate something like this. This I think it's like 50-50. So I disconnect, I hit smash me, I interact, and I reconnect. I think this is 50-50 on whether it works. And here we are. We got lucky that time. And so if I have a way of respawning, I'm good. So, to be clear, underneath this dialogue, we have the smash me thing, or the rebuild thing. The issue is there is no way in LU to change the order of things you have up. And the thing on top will always be the thing which is activated if you hit enter. And annoyingly, the thing on top is the start the race dialogue, which implies you always have to start the race before respawning. And so it was looking like this wouldn't work. Wait, why am I? Help. This may have been too long. We'll see. Okay, I said it was about 50-50. The issue is it's a question of which message the computer receives first from when it reconnects. In that instance, it received the interaction message before the die message, so the die came after, which meant that once the thing had been brought up, you'd died. If it happens the other way around, you die and then the thing gets brought up, and that way around is fine. So I'm just going to do this again. Interact, shift, smash me. And it doesn't matter the order you put them in, at least to the best of my knowledge. Maybe it does. No, it can't do, because I've tested this. yeah. I'll test this before I forget. I doubt myself sometimes, but no, I did test this fairly well. On an unlucky streak, it would appear. I'm also not actually paying attention to which order I do it in, so if there is an order difference which matters, I've messed up there probably. Then well, no, yeah, I might get kicked here. Still, again, maybe there is a difference. I was fairly certain there wasn't. It does seem to be random, but if this is purely random, we're getting quite unlucky right now. Okay, so that was shift then. Click, and that time we didn't get anything coming up. And I like to feel I'd demonstrated that this was possible, but I'm certainly not demonstrating it's that repeatable. Oh no, okay, I've messed everything up and I was too slow reconnecting, so you'll get to see me being kicked. There we are. Which is fine, because I just started the race and I don't really want to start the race. Okay, so I'm gonna log back in quickly. All right, we'll give this another go. I'm assuming the monument race won't still be active for me, even if I've logged out. If it is, there's probably a huge range of bugs we could exploit there. But I don't think it will be. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So again, and I did it again. I didn't reconnect. I'm definitely getting kicked this time. Yeah. Sorry, there are a good number of key presses which I have to do and have to remember all of them in the right order. And as you can see, sometimes I do not manage this. And this is one of the easier. This is one of the easier strategies, the ones I'm about to demonstrate. But I think it's a good strategy to show, because it then explains the next strategy and how the next strategy works in a lot more detail. So okay, let's do this another time. I'm going to remember to bring up the help menu in advance this time. Disconnect, smash me. I'm going to shift, I'm going to reconnect. Should be fast enough. Maybe it is order related, because I think I changed the order up there. But anyway, now what I can do is, if in theory I can respawn, I'm good. If I press enter, I'll just start. And so literally what I did at this stage was I was like, I just need to bring this up on top. Like, maybe there's another keybind to respawn where, like, other than enter, and so maybe I can get another way. So I literally just went through and pressed all of the letter keys on my computer. And the last one, right as I pressed X here, was interesting. No, apparently not right as I pressed X. Right after, I guess if you press N and then you press M, the map doesn't come up. Okay. When I pressed the map, I got something very interesting. The stuff from in-game goes away, but the smashed button doesn't. So now, I rebuild, leave the map. I said I leave the map. And I can now press play. This has got me respawned and able to interact. And able to start the race. So I'm not currently stunned, aside from the stun associated with the race. As you can see here, I'm able to run right away. And had my respawn point been set at the top, which we've seen we can do, then we're good to go. So let's now demonstrate this. Okay, so I'm gonna run down. Okay. yes, you're noticing a lag spike every time I disconnect. It's actually a good way of seeing when I'm disconnecting or reconnecting. Okay, so I'm now down here, and it's now a little bit of luck as to whether or not I get the smashing myself thing first time, but let's give that a go. So I'm trying to remember the order I did last time. I think last time I smashed then shift. So I don't think the order makes a difference. I don't think it should make a difference, but I'm going to check anyway, just in case. Reconnect, please. Okay, I bring up the map. I rebuild. I'm right at the start. I wait until I've respawned. I press play. Hey presto. There are probably faster ways. I guess maybe it'll be even faster just to do this. What you'd really want to do is you'd want to do something which, maybe that's better. You'd want to do something which cancels your momentum a little bit. You'd want to have a neat way of going there and then going back. Maybe an attack, something like that, because that does change your stuff quickly, but I guess attacking with this is a bad idea for a couple of reasons, because that will stop it, but this weapon's possibly not the best choice for that. But anyway, that's a demo. So don't know why my name's up there 3 times. So I don't think I'm friends with myself 3 times, last I checked. Oh, okay, it seems it's just, okay, that's... Anyway, yes, so the issue with this, however, is that it uses disconnect strats, which I'm not a huge fan of. And as such, it'd be really nice to have an alternative, so that's what I'm going to demonstrate here. So this alternative does not use disconnect strats at any point. Well, I'm just going to split it up into... I doubt I can pull this off in one run. If I do, it will be the first time I've managed to do it. So I've just got to check where I'm aiming for, roughly. I think just somewhere along... I'm just going to aim somewhere along here and just hope. I've got to gain a lot of heights now. There we are. That should... Nope, that wasn't good enough. Let's see if I respawn up there. It's always just good to get a little bit more information about where the things are. Yeah, I just lost too much height early on in that one. Oh, and yes, I haven't actually explained why I'm losing all my imagination. Essentially, there's a 0.25 seconds delay, which gets added whilst the game is checking how much imagination you have. Whilst the game is checking whether or not you're pressing or pressing and holding. If you're out of imagination, it just assumes you're pressing right off the bat, and so it attacks rather than charging up. Okay, this should be good enough. Just once more, just for safety. What? How am I just forgetting where it's safe to walk here? That might be the case. Oh, yeah, I think... am I? Where was I landing that I was slipping? Oh, was I trying to land up? No, that is just a wall. But yeah, anywhere here should be safe to land. Let's do that. Maybe once more, because I'm aiming to at least demonstrate in this video that this is possible piecewise. So let's aim a little bit further down, I guess. Just makes it easier for me to pull off. There we are. Okay, can then walk up to the top here. Wow, I messed that up. Don't know where my respawn point is going to be with this. Let's find out. Anyway, I've shown it's possible to get onto that rock. I'll show it's possible to... Yeah, okay. I'm surprised. But I mean, I guess that makes it a little bit easier. There's one fewer jump you have to make. Although it's not a particularly hard jump. I was just clearly bad. So let's do this again. So yeah, you can actually aim a lot further down than I was aiming, which is nice, because not having to do height gain with spring shoes is always a lot nicer. Okay, wait a second. Can I recover this? Because that's standable. Okay, I think that's actually recoverable. And that might... Where am I Nice. Okay, I'm not standing on a place, which that's a little bit annoying. But yeah, I wonder if I can just get up. Yeah, okay, that I managed to stand on, so that is doable. Wait, is there just a place there that I could... Okay. So I can get in. Let's see. I don't know where my respawn point will be after this, but might as well. I may have gone too far. No, I didn't. That's interesting. I wonder if we can make this... I think we can just make this from here. That would mean no spring shoes... This means no spring shoes required. Okay, that's good to know. Yep, there's a kind of precisely timed jump you need to make there. But then... Hey, presto. Okay, no spring shoes needed. This is good. And I just run down here. Okay, so now... This is where things get a little bit hard. Okay, it's roughly the same as what it was at home. So, I now need to smash myself and press shift at precisely the right timing. So, what it seems is that if I smash myself, that takes longer to go to the server and come back than interacting with this. And I need to ensure that the things happen in this order. That I send the /die message, that I interact with this, that I receive my death, and that the message comes up. Which means I need to interact with this before I die, or basically as close to me dying as possible. If I interact with it too soon, then it will flash up on the screen and disappear. If I interact with it and disappear because me dying removed it, if I interact with it too late, then it will just never appear. Because I'll have died before I was able to do it. So let's just give this a go. And there, I was too fast to hit shift. So I'm not going to keep respawning and pulling off the strat from up here. That, I guess, would be something for another day. But I'm very pleased we can do it without spring shoes. That makes me very happy. Because that makes this so much more practical to do on a server where you don't have admin. Why am I trying to do that? No. Let's... I think this resets my spawn point. Just check that, but it should do. No, it didn't. Oh, okay. I'll take a different route. That's really interesting that I didn't reset it, though. Okay. So, yeah. So, now if I /die, I should respawn back there. Cool. This just lets us do multiple attempts in a row a lot more quickly. And so, yeah, okay. Wow. Okay, I'm surprised by that. Second try. And then rebuild. And so, no disconnects used there. Just some precise timing. And then you can start the race. So, I guess... Let's see if I can just do that again. Can I find a consistent timing? That was like butter. Alright. Guess I'll give this a go from up top. Do this with completely process butter. Oh god, I sound deranged. I guess maybe that's not a bad diagnosis. Okay, let's go. So make it up here. Do the well-timed jump there. That's just an interest. I may have cut too far over to the one side here. I possibly shouldn't have done that. Okay, so get help menu up. Butter. I'm dumb. I didn't do the map glitch. Wait, what? What? Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, we've just found a faster route up the monument. In fact, one that was so fast there that I think I just got into underflowed. So the game doesn't count you crossing the finish line. Doesn't count you as moving past the finish line if you're stunned. However, if you aren't stunned, then apparently... So this would mean the easier strategy would be possible. Anyway, let's... Sorry. So okay. So I didn't demonstrate the strategy I wanted to do in a single run. So let's do that quickly. But that's interesting because that suggests you don't actually need the precise timing. Come over here. Get the help menu up. Do a bit of that. Rebuild. Okay. This was what I was going to demonstrate. Yeah, okay, and I actually managed a 59 there. So I'm assuming that is literally just the get. So the server seems to correct your times based on somewhat, and it seems to remove often like 1 or 2 seconds. So I think this here is me doing it fast enough that it had to remove more time than... It removed more time than it actually took me to complete it. So yeah, so that was the intended glitch. It seems... However, I guess I will attempt to pull this off quickly, because this will actually be marginally easier. So that is so nice. So honestly, yeah, some good progress here. We found the timing as well. But yeah, that's looking like if I just slash die right when the race starts, it will count me as moving there. So in that case, I just need to keep track of the time of the countdown. And will it auto-complete here? No, it didn't this time. Okay, something weird happens that time for it to auto-complete. Anyway, case in point, that's this demonstrated. Now, I'd like to briefly just outline how you prevent this from being possible. You prevent this from being possible with 2 things. Firstly, you can... And this first one was the one I suggested to Darwin at the time I first discovered disconnect strats back before DLU released, which was you just teleport the player to right under here, right when the timer starts, when the countdown starts at the very beginning. Because if the player's teleported to here, then they... Well, yeah, then there's no point trying to get extra distance because you're teleported back here. This does increase your time minorly because you can no longer like edge as far forward as you possibly can. But to be honest, I feel like that's just like a constant offset, and that was never anything which took much skill. So I think that's fine. The other thing you'd need to do, which potentially could impact players slightly more, but really, like, I don't think should, is just if you die soon enough. If you die, I guess you could do if you die within the first 5 seconds of a race, because that shouldn't be possible. Like, I guess... Okay. If you die within, like, the first 2 or 3 seconds of the time of starting, then that ends your race. Because there's no reason, even if you're on 1 health, there's no reason you should hit that laser within that length of time. So yeah, yeah, I hope that worked as a nice demonstration. This was it's a lot of fun to finally crack the monument, and yeah, we've got a range of strategies. I'm very pleased I also pulled that one strategy off in one go and got the budda or budda strategy, which I am going to... That's what I'm going to continue to call it, because I think that's hilarious. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Intro You, and I'll see you around. Bye.